Kemper Profiler Tones and Talks, Season 2, episode number 11, and we're still deep in the 80s, and here's the video. Yeah, that's pretty amazing. I remember when that record came out, I was not a Yes fan at all. This was all too artsy and too mellow for me in a way. I came from, Deep Purple and Rainbow and stuff like that. And on the other hand, singer-songwriters and this whole pathetic tsunami was a little bit too much for me. But when that album came out, the white one, especially with that song Owner of a Lonely Heart, that's what we're talking about, I was blown away. And they had also a new guitar player. And Thomas Dill is here, of course. Welcome.
Hi.
And as usual, he knows a lot more about that than me.
Okay, I take over. Yeah, for me, personally, it was the starting point for Yes. I didn't develop Yes. Also, I was in Led Zeppelin, Deep Purple, and all those rock guys, not the Genesis, the old school Genesis stuff, the art rock stuff. And it came out and it was fantastic. And then you're looking, what did they do before that time? And it was different, but it was also absolutely great. And they had the new guitar player, Trevor Rabin. And of course, they had a new producer, which was a guy played with the Buggles, video called The Radio Star. And it turned out to be a great producer for many, many 80s and further sounds. So let's look at the song facts. So here we are. It's Trevor Rabin, Owner of a Lonely Heart. We said that composer is Trevor Rabin, Anderson, Squire Horn, so the Yes guys. And the band is Yes. Album is 90125. The album catalog number, I think it was that. And release was 1983. And they recorded that at SARM and Air Studios in London. And the producer was Trevor Horn, who is famous for his work with Frankie Goes to Hollywood. And I think it was Grace Jones too.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else? I don't. There's much stuff, but at the moment, I don't know. Great guy. And Trevor Rabin played a Fender Stratocaster, and this is the Strat. It's a 62 Strat with rosewood fretboard, and at the recording time, he used stock pickups at the neck and middle position, and at the bridge position, he had a DiMarzio FS1 built in. And here he is in newer days with this guitar, and he, after the recording, I think it was for the tour, in the summer of 1984, he replaced the pickups, and he had Seymour Duncan hot rails at the bridge, a Bill Lawrence L250 in the middle, and a Seymour Duncan hot stack at the neck position. So this is just the facts for the guitar. But he also did some endorsements for Westone and Alvarez. Here are some announcements from music magazines. And the amp and cap, really simple. The stuff that was available at that time and the stuff that was used, JCM 800 to 2203 heads and caps. And this is the JCM at 800. It's just, simple Marshall amp, master volume, and 2 inputs. And he used 2 stacks, with two 4x12 caps recorded with dynamic mics. And he used some effect. You heard it. And this is unique for that solo, this pitch shifting effect. And talking about effects, it was a Boss DS1, as he said, and an MXR pitch transposer who makes this pitch shifting tone. And here's the Boss DS1, the orange one. Typical Boss, legendary distortion pedal used by, I think, Steve Vai, also Joe Satriani, and from the guitar into the DS.
Thomas, there was the same thing, and it always comes with a noise. Like if you have you stepped on something? Is there maybe a shortage or so?
No.
It always comes like it sounds like a fuse is switching, and then the audio is gone and everything stands.
Sorry for that. I just
Steht still. Und du hast gerade gesagt, the DS1 famously used by Steve Vai and Joe Satriani, and then it was clap and it was gone. So do again. DS1 famously used by, and then go on.
Yeah. So the DS1 is famously used by Joe Satriani, Steve Vai, and many, many others. And now we come to the pitch shifter or pitch transposer, as it's said on the unit, the MXR pitch transposer. And he had a signal chain from going from the guitar into the DS1, then into a splitter. And the first signal goes to the first Marshall head, just the dry or DS1 signal into the Marshall head, and the second signal goes into the pitch transposer and to the second head. So he had a dry, wet signal chain recorded with two mics. And that's all about. Am I on here? Yeah. That's all about he used on at that time. And that solo is so unique with that pitch shifting sound.
Yeah, it's also a lot in the playing there. Now I realize that at all, because after that, a lot of digital devices came out. There was the I think I had an SPX 90 first. There was some pitch shifting in there, and then the second half of the 80s there was that Yamaha came as well with the SPX 90 was also Yamaha. FX 500, half rack size multi-effects device in the FX 550, and they both had pitch shifting things in there, which also sounded for the time pretty amazing, but much more intense. And I thought there was much more involved. But if it's just the MXR pitch transposer, and I realize as I see it, what you're doing, that a lot of this, the bending stuff, and so added a lot to that impression that there's something.
Yeah, and it's the tremolo and something like that. So. And a little bit, I tend to pick hard for that sound. So not that. So you need to let the guitar scream a little bit more. But this is a very heavy thing for pitch shifters. They need to follow those notes, and some bad pitch shifters, some old school pitch shifters, they can't follow that. So they make really sizzling noises when you and then they drop out when you do some tremolos. So this is always when I do reviews of pitch shifting effects or something like that. This is always the test. So how does it work with harmonic? And with the tremolo, and how does it work with chords? But this sound has also a little bit of, yeah, let's say old school. I think, was that digital? No. It was
83.
83 digital MXR pitch transposer.
The NASA computer was digital at that time, but not.
Yeah. So
we're before a Commodore C6.
Yeah. So it's analog device, but it sounds a little bit enhanced, I would say, softly then. so the modern.
Exactly, because as I'm thinking about this, before computers, there was the synclavier.
Yeah.
And I'm sure Trevor Horn, as he was involved, brought in some of his tools and toys. And because I just remember there are these breaking glass.
Yeah. There's a great video.
Like that. So that has to be digital.
Yeah. There's a great video where he shows the original tracks on Over Lonely Heart. And he had a Fairlight. He used that with a Fairlight, and he did some Moog samples. This is a Moog sample and fast pitched or something, I don't know, but unique sounding, and but also it did sound a little bit harsh for me. But this is the style. So this gives you this vintage 80s style vibe with pitch shifted signals that doesn't sound warm. Let's say that. Let's use this word. So I take over and go to the rig manager and show you what I used for that sound. So there's a bit of morphing going on. You see it with the blue and red dots here, but I come to that later. We have a noise gate, an amplifier. The amplifier is one of my favorites, the Friedman and BE100. And this is something that can't be, because Friedman amps wasn't available at that time. But to be honest, I don't care. So it fitted good for that sound, so I used it. I didn't use the JCM 800 or something like that. A little bit of studio EQ just to match the frequency range, but the high cut is not at a lower level, just to get that sizzling 80s pitch shifted sound. Natural reverb. I will start from the top and turn everything off except the noise gate and the EQ. So this is the basic amp sound. Then with the natural reverb. So this is just a small room. It's just 0.9 seconds decay time. Mix level at 31, and a little bit of pre-delay, small room. Nothing else going on here, really. A little bit of high cut. So this is instead. Then the dual delay with a slapback sound. Just not, oh, here we are. 69 milliseconds and 104 milliseconds. So 69 on the left, 104 on the right, and feedback level at 11%. So It's just one repeat. So to get this, shattering room sound. Duck, a little low. I don't have the sampler here. And okay, then chromatic pitch. So this is one with two voices, and I set both to 7. So this is the half steps that the pitch shifter creates, the pitch shifted signal, and the signal comes left and right. So the main guitar tone is in the middle, in the center. You hear it? And the pitch shifted signal on left and right, creating this wider stereo effect. And yeah, interesting thing is formant shifting for pitch shifters. When I don't enable this formant shifting, it sounds that one. A little bit more harsh. Turning it on and turning down the formant shift a little bit. You change, let's talk in guitar players' language. You change the tone of the pitch shifted signal. So it gets, when you turn it to the left, it gets a more warmer tone. Turn it to the right, you get this, Mickey Mouse high frequency tone. So when you like to have these old school pitch shifted sounds, then turn the formant shifting a little bit more up. But to get this tone, I turn it to 0.5. So that's it for the solo sound. For the rhythm sound, just turn morphing or switch the rig button. Yeah, this is something you always have it in the ear and in mind. I morphed the gain, turned the gain a little bit lower, then turned the chromatic pitch off. So mix level is at -50, so it's turned off. Then the dual delay mix level at 0%, so delay is off too. And the reverb mix level at 4.5%, so a really dry sound. For the normal sound, you get this one. And this is what they use. They have really very much different sounds in there, great sounds. And another sound, I couldn't really put it into this one rig. It's the verse sound, or in the bridge, it's more prominent. And this is a clean, direct tone with the 80s modulation. And I prepared it a little bit. So if you're going for that, I will show you what you maybe need to do. So here we are. And I turn the normal. Yeah. So first of all, turn reverb, pitch, maybe studio EQ. Also turn everything off. Only the amp. Then turn the amp gain down. So okay, this is some clean sound, but 80s clean sound is different, is direct sound. So that means turn the cabinet off. But first of all, I like to show you something with the cabinet on, and this is some new stuff coming up in the next time, the liquid profiling. And here's a button where you can choose your amp model. And this is really fancy because the tone stack of the original amp is modeled, and you can put that on your profile. That means this is the normal stuff. So this is how it was profiled with Kemper generic. But if you like to have the EQ reacting like the original EQ of the amp, then you need to take something different. So I could take the Friedman normal channel or clean bright channel, but I'd like to take a deluxe reverb normal channel. This is something what you can do too. You don't need to use the original one. And then we have bass and treble. So I will show you something here. This is the tone stack of the deluxe reverb with a Friedman profile, and this is the original. This is nothing really different, but when you turn the treble up, and then you go back to the normal one, it sounds different. So yeah, you can try it and try different stuff with these tone stack settings. And coming back to the 80s clean sound, turn the cabinet off, take the Fender Deluxe Reverb tone stack. So yeah. So this is the first thing. Then take the overdrive off and go to a hard compressor, because this clean sound you get this knack sound, and then maybe turn the vintage chorus and the flanger, which is prepared on that rig. And you get this typical 80s clean sound with modulation. And this is great to use the vintage chorus with a much depth, and the flanger with moderate setting, I would say. So yeah,
that difference is really amazing.
Yeah, but it's great to have that tone stack stuff in there to fine-tune your direct sounds, and of course the normal rigs and normal profiles with the cabinet. But it's easier than instead of using the studio EQ or something else. So I really tend to use the studio in EQ in the past to fine tune and add some frequencies or raise down some frequencies. And now with the tone stack it's really easier, and you have one module more for different effects.
Yeah, and it's also so interesting because before I would have said, what kind of difference should that make? Because you can use a EQ in front of the amp or so, but it really makes a completely different difference, because it changes so much the way this whole thing, the way the distortion sounds and the breakup points and much more rounder, and it's really a possibility to, even on this level, just to add a different tone stack to a rig which is already there, to create a special version, a tuned version of your amp, basically. So that's That's really amazing. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to what's coming in terms of the complete liquid profiling, because at this point, maybe we have visited Guido Bogenstock doing some full liquid profiles last weekend, and they had this JCM 800 amps they were profiling and then applying the models and whatever, and it turned out to be a completely different beast. So that's really to look forward to. Yeah, amazing. And as V80 sounds are coming back in a lot of modern production these days, you know, the Weeknd and everybody else around that, feel free to dive in and
Turn the cap off.
make your hands dirty with these tones and switch the cap off. Of course. Yeah, thanks a lot again for this special insight, and try this at home, and see you next time.
And have fun. Bye.